Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're taking a look at the Diamond Select Marvel Select Sandman. So taking a quick look at what is left of the packaging. So it would have looked something like this. You'd have had this picture of the Sandman on the side, and the back would have been like that. And then all of this area would have been a complete viewing window. Now, I have to say, I do really like how they've included screen grabs of all the different comic book appearances. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, like up here you've got the more 60s style Sandman, and then you've got the more modern take down here, and then the sort of in between. So yeah, that is really cool how they've done that. I really do like it. On the side, as I said, you got that really nice picture of the Sandman. Marvel Sandman Deluxe Collectors Figure with diorama base. Marvel Select logo. Warning, choking hazard, and obviously small parts, not for children under 3 years. Then on the back, you do get this very nice description of the character. So, yeah, you can pause the video right now if you want to read that. But, you know, if you're watching this video, I think you know who Sandman is. Oh, and look, there's the American price tag. Oh, it was $29.99. So I've technically paid about 26 quid for this. So I've actually saved money by getting it over in America. Then you have a quick look at some of the other figures available in the Diamond Select range, which they do look really nice, to be honest. It's a shame I've missed out on them. This 7-inch scale action figure Sandman features 16 points of articulation and includes multiple interchangeable parts designed by Eamon O'Donoghue and sculpted by Jean St. Jean. And then you do have a very nice promotional image of the character. I'm sorry I have to kind of squeeze this down. It's so difficult to fit it on camera because it's such a big box. Then on the back you kind of have that continuation of the various different scenes of the comic. So yeah, it is a very nice packaging. It's just a shame that there's such little left of it, but I couldn't bring much of it back because I had to cram this in the suitcase for the journey home. So yeah, and since then it's kind of just been buried under a whole load of other stuff. But let's not procrastinate any longer, let's get straight onto the figure. So I really wanted to review this guy for a very long time, as he was a Sandman figure that I got quite some time ago. Actually, just before the whole lockdown happened. I got this when I went to New York back in February 2020. Yep, right before lockdown happened. And I got this guy from a toy shop over there. So this was before I had the Toy Biz Sandman, which you can see a review on this channel if you want to. And this was obviously long before I had the most recent retro card Sandman from the Spiderman retro series. And yeah, I had this guy all this time, and I've wanted to review him ever since I made this channel, but I kept putting it off because I lost his base and I couldn't find it anywhere. But recently I just found it, so I thought, yay, now I can finally review this guy properly. And what I want to do after this video is do a comparison between all three Sandman figures and just, you know, talk about which one I think is the best. So, yeah. So taking a look at this guy, obviously there is quite a big difference between him and other Sandman figures. And it's not just the colour, it's his articulation and the way he's built. And I even think the plastic is much tougher. Like, it's a bit more, you know, it's very rock hard. But this Sandman is very unique when it comes to the lineup of Sandman figures that we have. And I'll just bring in the other two to make a comparison. So here we have the Toy Biz Sandman on the left. And then here we have the retro card Sandman on the right. Now, as you can see, there are quite some significant differences between these three figures. The most noticeable one being the colour of the trousers. As you can see, they've gone for sort of a dark grey trousers and brown boots, which is interesting, whereas you can see on the other figures, they've got brown trousers and grey boots. So, well, the dark brown, technically. But yeah, it is very different, and it does noticeably pop on the shelf. I have to say, they've done a very nice job with his shirt and the various different colours. I really like the belt. I think it's actually more highlighted with the darker trousers. That's one thing I was really annoyed about this one, is they didn't include the belt on it, but as I said, I'll save all that for the comparison video. So, taking a look at him just as is, very nice and impressive figure. I love the shiny silver paint that they've used on the belt buckle and on the little parts of the laces at the bottom here. Soles of the shoes have been done in black with the peg holes and all the legal stuff. You've got a very nice wash just to bring out the details in the trousers, and as you can see, a lot of creases and pockets have been sculpted in, and no annoying numbers randomly drawn on the leg, you know, like the recent Hasbro ones. So very, very nice figure. The details are very well defined, as you can see. And even on the arms, there's sort of transition into the sand, but we'll get onto that shortly. So, looking at the face sculpt, it's really good. I really like the sculpting, and I do really love the hair. I think they've done a great job with that, and the combination of lighter and darker washes to bring that out. They've also given it like a wash to really highlight the smaller details in the face. But the eyes could have been done a little bit better. I think there were two in the comic shop, and I looked at both of them, and this one had the better eyes of the two, so I decided to go with this one. But yeah, really good face. In terms of articulation, the head can go from side to side. You don't want to force it all the way around because the back of the chin will scrape the paint off the neck. He can go side to side slightly. He can't really go forward that much at all, nor back. It's very restricted, this head articulation, which is a shame. His shoulders can come right the way out to 90 degrees, but they are very, very stiff. It took me quite some time to get these to work. They can also do a full rotation. You have a full 360 rotation at the bicep, but I really don't like doing that because it loosens it up, like I think I've just done. There is a 90-degree bend at the elbow, a full 360 at the top of the hand, but that's where it clips on, so there would naturally be a full 360 there. There is a slight rotation at the ab crunch, not really much of a forward and back, but it is there. There's a full 360 at the waist, but you guys will see why in a moment. You can bring the legs right the way forward and not really back at all. There's a full 360 rotation at the top of the leg, a double bend at the knee, which gives him the ability to bring his leg right the way back, which is nice. And then in terms of the boot, there is a rotation and can't really pivot from side to side. So overall, and also you can bring the leg reasonably far out. Very strange joints that they've used, but we'll get on to that. So yeah, in terms of articulation, very good range of motion. But what I think really sells this figure is the accessories. So aside from the sand accessories that you see on him now, we also have this ginormous mace and this sand grabbing hand, as you can see, all with the sand texture throughout them. Very, very nicely detailed. As you can see, you've got like the flesh arm as it slowly transitions into the sand, which is really nice. You've even got the sand kind of dripping off the fingers, which I really like. That's a nice attention to detail. Same on the wrist, you know, of this hand, you can see that sort of transition from the flesh into the sand, which is really nice. I love the texture. I love that really kind of stony texture they've gone for. And same one with this one. So we'll just detach these really quickly. That one comes off with ease. And so does that one. And you can see the pegs that we have underneath, which are very nice. And what he also does come included with are regular human wrists, and to attach those you just pop them on. Quite stiff because I very rarely put these on him. And then you have a complete human looking Sandman. So yeah, This is very much a William Baker slash Flint Marko figure. Now, there isn't really much about him at all to suggest that he's even made of sand. And then you can also detach each individual hand, which is on a peg, and reattach at will. And you do come with a selection of human hands, which I think is which I think is a really strange choice, as, you know, him being the Sandman, you'd think they'd want to focus more on the sand parts, but they've given you a lot of human hands. They've given you a sort of reaching to grab hand, another fist hand for that side, another reaching to grab hand, I'm not really sure what that is, and a hand that looks like it's sculpted to hold a gun. I'm not really sure what that's about. He doesn't really come with a gun. Very, very strange. I'm not really sure why they did that. Like I say, he does come with a base, which has this very nice kind of concrete colour with the sand just kind of oozing over the top. Very, very nice. I love the texture they've done into it, and I love the various shades of brown they've used. And then you just kind of align those up with the pegs on the feet. Sadly, mine don't really go all the way in, but it's enough. So you can get him, if you are worried about him standing, this could help you kind of, you know, make him a bit more secure, especially when you have the more heavier arms attached. But yeah, that's a nice option. So yeah, a lot of human accessories, like I said. So for this side, you have the sand hand, the sand fist, and then for this side you have that and the mace. So the right side is very much for his weapons, the left side is for his hands, which I kind of don't like. I wish they'd have done maybe the fist for this side and the grabbing hand for this side, you know, just so that you could have two sand hands instead of weapons. I think that was really annoying that they did that. See, you can have the weapons on either side, but with these two hands, you can only really have them on this side because they're both sculpted for the left hand, which is annoying. So a couple of their decisions that they've made are just very strange with this figure. Sadly, I haven't been able to attach this because, as you can see, the peg hole is very small, so I'm going to have to drill that out. I've tried several times, and trust me, I've really hurt myself trying to do it. Now, one thing I am going to say about this weapon is it is rock hard, and it is very sharp. Look. If you guys can focus. Like, it is very, very sharp, this thing, and it's rock hard, guys. Like, if you threw this at a window, it would go through it. It would shatter it, and if, God forbid, if, like, a child ever threw this at, you know, someone, then this would really, really hurt them. So that's something just to take into consideration. It's very heavy, it's got quite some weight to it, and it's very strong. So, yeah, I wouldn't really give this to a young child. You know, I don't think this is a toy, I think it's more of a collectible anyway. But the most awesome thing that this Sandman can do, and I think this is what really sets him apart from the rest, he does come with an interchangeable sand skirt, which I just think is really, really awesome. You've got that wonderful sand texture, all kind of in a twister, like it's rising up out of the ground. It is completely hollow, as you can see, and it's got that same little plug at the top. So in order to attach him, this is why he has the articulation here, because that just pops off. As you can see, they have the same peg, and then you just align it up. Now you see these little bits here that stick out, make sure that you don't flatten those, just kind of connect it in, and voila. How awesome does that look? And this is my preferred choice for displaying him. This is the only way I ever display him, but you know, these Sandman figures, as nice as they are, you know, there's only really so much you can do with them, but the fact with this guy, you can actually display him like he's rising out of the ground. So immediately you've gone from, you know, him looking entirely human, and then if you take off your arms here and you put your sand weapons on, just do that real quick, and boom, you know, you have a very, very more sand than man, which I think is really, really cool. So yeah, really, really fantastic figure. I think for the price of £30, which it was, or in the US it was about $27, but for that price, I think you're definitely getting your money's worth. I do have a couple of issues with this figure. The articulation is very clunky. It's stiff, but some parts are very loose, like this arm just never seems to want to stay up with this thing on, but it is very heavy, so I do understand that. His head can't really move that well, and also the joints that they've used are very strange. Like, they're very tight, but in spite of this, he does still stand really, really well. I really love the texture of the sand that they've used. Like, I love the different blend of colours with the paint and how it all comes together. Very strange that they included so many human hands. I don't really understand why they did that. Maybe the money ran out and they just thought, you know, we should just cram as much as we can in, which fair enough, you know, if they want to give us a little bit extra. But yeah, I just think the biggest disappointment for me is that you can't have two sand hands. You've got to have a weapon, you know, because they've only sculpted the sand hands for this side. I think that was a definite mistake. I think they should have put the fist on this side and the sort of relaxed hand on this side. I think that would have looked really cool. But in spite of this, I still think this is a very, very good figure. So I'm going to give this... honestly, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, and I think that solely is just because of this, because it's so, so cool, and, you know, because of the shape of it, you've got no worry of this falling over. Like, you just see how it's on an angle as well. Like, this thing is not going to fall over, so, you know, displaying him like this on the shelf will reduce anxiety. So, yeah, very, very cool Sandman. Looks very nice when you bring in the others to go with him. And like I said, I do want to do a comparison video where I compare all three of these. Which one do I prefer the most? So keep an eye out for that. So thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Stay safe and happy wherever you are in the world. And go to the beach, because it's very nice weather outside and, you know, plenty of sand at the beach, you know. So, yeah, stay safe and happy wherever you guys are in the world, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.